Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. We've got more Group 1 action on the way this weekend. Oh, we're not previewing that race. I'll tell you why in a sec. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. It genuinely is the best no-cost way of supporting our podcast. And it's just a click, and it's well worth doing. And there'll be loads more podcasts on your doorstep if you do that, including... the Premier League starts next weekend, so get your head around that. But that'll all be covered there with Dan Hussey and the team. This is a horse racing podcast, so if you like the Premier League and not horse racing, you're in the wrong place. Ed Quigley is with us, not long now. Steve Jones on his 222nd Matchbook podcast, and I'm still not I can't even say his name, but I'm not him. Simple, obviously, because he can talk. We aren't doing the Phoenix Stakes because we don't have a bet in it. It's as simple as that. I guess everyone thinks that Whistle Jacket's going to go and win, don't know. But we're going to skip that because we're a betting podcast. We're not previewing stuff for the sake of it. But we are going to move on to the other featured juvenile race of the weekend, and that is the Sweet Solera Stakes. Steve, I'm going to come to you first. You are with the favourite, are you? This another smart Frankel filly.
Yeah, it's not my kind of price of a horse, but I was surprised that he wasn't a little bit shorter, or she was a little bit shorter, because obviously it's the Sweet Solera Stakes for fillies. And Lake Victoria, I was a little bit surprised she might even be odds on. I know Mountain Breeze is kind of shaping the market because she's already proven herself in group races. She was runner-up in the Duchess of Cambridge in the July meeting, and she'd probably improved going up in distance. But what Lake Victoria did first time up, but Aidan O'Brien at the Curragh over 7 furlongs, it's 7 furlong trip today, I thought was hugely impressive to beat another well-touted newcomer who's since gone on and won by 5 lengths at the Curragh in another similar race with the pair of them miles clear. And when Aidan O'Brien horses win first time up, I think that they're worth looking at, but they don't always fire them up first time. And the fact that she was able to win first time, she's got an extremely good pedigree, as you would expect, coming from Aidan O'Brien. She's by Frankel, and her mum, Dam, is Quiet Reflection, who hasn't bred anything of note yet, but Quiet Reflection was a Group 1 sprinter for Calvert, was it? It was one of the Northern trainers, I think it was Calvert. She was very good, but she hasn't bred anything good yet, but she's bred something exceptional, I think, in Lake Victoria. And this race last year was won by the Irish Guineas winner, Fallen Angel. And it's been won by good horses down the years, going right back to Soviet Song and horses like that. And I think she's very good, Lake Victoria.
Good stuff. That's Lake Victoria. Ed, who are you with?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with a lot of what Jonesy says. Just the price for me. I thought it'd be too early to write off Liberalised for last year's winning combo. Tudhope and Burke here. That Duchess of Cambridge Stakes, Liberalised was a bit of a no-show, really, finishing 8th, but looked outpaced, got on the back foot and made a little bit of, I would say, moderately headway, because she finished 8th out of 11, but looked as though she still had running in her as she hit the line. But I thought, quite frankly, was just taken off her feet on quick ground over the 6. Interesting here up to the 7. I think she might just find things much more in a comfort zone. Given the way she won over 6 on her debut, she looked all stamina to me when she won that Hamilton Maiden. In fact, I think a mile would probably suit her now, funnily enough. But I think 7 will bring her into the equation here. And we know the Carl Burke team have had a wonderful time of things with the 2-year-olds this campaign. So, yeah, trappy event. Totally respect Lake Victoria. I kind of be Dutching in a way. But, Liberalised, I think, could be slightly overpriced, slightly forgotten in many respects.
That's the featured juvenile race in the UK anyway, in the form of the Sweet Solera. The way we're going to do this is do it in just race courses, because we'll save the SHERGAR Cup to the end. So we've got a couple from HAYDOCK, 3, in fact, from HAYDOCK to preview now. First up is the 225, where Kilt is about the 5.5 favourite. 3-year-old's got a good record in this. We're over a mile. I'll just kick off. I am going with a 3-year-old, and that is Old Cock for PJ McDonald and Ed Bethel, who was noticeably disappointing last time. Now, I don't know what the heck happened, but he was beaten 45 lengths. Handled quick ground at this track prior to that, so the course is a tick. The drop to a mile shouldn't have been a problem. it might have just done too much in front because the winner came from way off it. Although the second was up there. I'm just inclined to forgive the horse that run, and that's why he is 11.0, I should say. He's completely lightly raced. If you're willing to just throw it out last time, then like he was hammered in the market for a second start in a handicap last time off the same mark. So I'm well willing to side with Old Cock again here at big old prices, as opposed to say a horse like Kilt at the top of the betting. Yeah, sure, might be really well treated, but I think there's almost more evidence that Old Cock is, although last time was disappointing. Old Cock for me, and that ties in nicely with you, Steve.
Yeah, birds of a feather there. Old Cock sticking together. What a cheap gag. I like you. I want to be with the 3-year-olds. This time of year, especially, and this is a mile, but even going up further, I think the 3-year-olds have got an advantage on the weight for age. Kilt steps into handicaps after 3 runs, 2 of them this season. First time up at Newmarket, won quite a good novice race, and I think he's got the potential to be quite well in on the back of that. And again, William Haggis wouldn't have his horses totally wound up first time. Next time, not so sure what went on there under a penalty at Newmarket. Maybe it was a lesser run, certainly. Maybe it was just naturally a lesser run second start, which you can get. But the form of that race has worked out really well. And back to the form of that first win at Newmarket on the Rowley Mile, it was July course last time. I think he's got Kilt's got every chance and got the pedigree as well. The Damn Dank was a Breeders' Cup winner, and the half sister, whose name is very similar, Doom, I think, is holding her own in groupish kind of races. So Kilt's got the potential in the breeding, and I think is nicely handicapped. So yeah, Kilt for me.
Rosa Lancaster up next. Ed, straight over to you, sir. Who do you like and why?
I like Anne Matt to overcome the absence. Clearly had a few issues as a 6-year-old and a frequent visitor to the track. I think just 12 starts for a 6-year-old, but not easiest to train, but very good record when fresh. Is one off the back of 7-month absence, 9-month absence before, and Chasestone former Derby winner Adayar off the back of a really long break last season. So yeah, arrives here, or 2 seasons ago, I should say, arrives here on the back of never long absence, but it's just the class act in the field. This is a Group 1 winner coming into this assignment, escapes a penalty because it was 2 years ago, I believe. Holds the field on figures. I just think it's the best type. Owen Burrows will have this, I'd imagine, 98% on the comeback. And I said the CV of Anne Matt suggests absences are much of a worry, which will usually be the case. Course distance winning form as well, and winning form on the ground. A lot of boxes ticked here, and I think Anne Matt can overcome the absence.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm with a 3-year-old again, Bracken's Laugh, who looked really good first time up last season in that it's thrown up some really good horses in the past. The Haynes, Hanson and Clark Novice at Newbury at the back end of the season, beating King's Gambit. Now, King's Gambit has gone on to be placed in group races, having won the London Gold Cup. And since then, Bracken's Laugh is maybe been a little bit unlucky. It's certainly suffered last time at Ascot in the Hampton Court when had the rail draw, which isn't a good thing on the round course at Ascot, and got trapped on the inside, but still ran well behind JRB. And that JRB is a horse that finished behind Bracken's Laugh when Bracken's Laugh was runner-up to Capulet in the D Stakes. Bracken's Laugh's had a breathing operation, hasn't been seen for 2 months, but it's got an excellent record after a break, even though that's just a short one. So I think Bracken's Laugh, everything is in play here. And I'm really surprised that Bracken's Laugh is such a big price considering.
For me, I was going to put up Almabeer as sort of a safe win and place play at 6.0. I just think Anmark confuses it so much. but I can't quite support him. Yes, he's good fresh. The trainer, did it without Flailer as well twice. So I'm not so worried about the absence. It's just a bit of an unknown. So on the back of that, I'm sitting it out. The Dick Hearn is next. That's the 445. Indelible is 4.75. American Arrow is 6.0. Carnarvon 7.5. All the way down to our team Steam, everybody, which is Choicea for Harry Davis, Simon, and Ed Crisford. Steve, I'll come to you first of all. I mean, I just thought it was obvious at the prices. She was even bigger yesterday as well. But course and distance winner. The yard when she was running were quiet and they hadn't been right. And they're bang back on song now. She should be fine on the ground. This is her distance. And we know she likes it here. Like, I thought she was a very, very fair price, Steve.
Yeah, I was hoping you're going to come to me last so I could just say I agree. But I do agree with everything you say.
You still can.
Yeah, there you go. It's one over the course and distance on fast ground last year. I think the win at Goodwood, the big meeting that we've just had, the form of that worked out really well, giving weight to Novus and a beating. I thought that was exceptionally good. And this season has just been coming to the Boyle listed races. And last time at Goodwood, that was a solid effort. But the form, there's potential for Choice to be better than that. And I think she is. And I think she will show it in this race.
Ed, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I agree. But no, final point would be I do think the ground, I know she's got some form on soft ground, but I thought she got a bit stuck in the mud in that listed event back in May at Goodwood. I should say it was a bit quicker when she won at the glorious Goodwood last year, and she had another win on a CV on Haydock on much quicker ground. So I think conditions more in her favour, and as you say, ticks a lot of boxes here. The market kind of starting to correct itself slowly, but I still think she's on the big side, put it that way.
That's Haydock done. Then we come to the SHERGAR Cup. Never overly easy. I've had good SHERGAR Cups. I've had terrible ones as well. Tend to stick with rider I know. But anyway, there we are. We'll get there. Nothing for you in the dash. We're going to go in race card order. So the 135 first of all. I'll kick off with Killian, who I'll be interested to see how Billy Loughnane rides Killian. Still early days for this team. He's on a wing. I sort of hope they tuck in a bit and want to give the horse a bit of cover. But Billy Loughnane knows how to ride this track. He was very good at the Royal Meeting. The horse was slowly away a couple of starts ago. That was obviously in the Group 1 and never really had a chance. And then last time was disappointing, sure, but that was with cheek pieces on. But he lines up here off a mark of 94, and he's very capable. So I sort of hope they go patiently, find your way through the race. He's a 3-year-old. I haven't checked what the recent... Actually, it's not... Well, the last 2 winners have been 3-year-olds. I wouldn't make too much of that in the SHERGAR Cup necessarily. It's mainly that he's very well treated, and I think he'll have this run to suit as well. So I thought Killian was a fair old price at 13.0. Steve?
Yeah, the feature of this race, there's a lot of 6 furlong horses in here, and I'm going to tip one of them, Desert Cop, who comes from a very fast family and generally runs over 6 furlongs, only run over 5 furlongs once. But that was one of his best runs in many respects because it was in the Group 1, the King Stan Stakes, which is now called the King Charles III Stakes, I think. Anyway, the 5 furlong sprint on the Group 1 on the opening day of Royal Ascot finished 6th, only beaten 4 or 5 lengths behind Bradsell last year. And since then, it only raced over further, including when winning at Newmarket in the Guineas meeting, when beating Apollo 1, who was placed in the Stewards Cup last weekend. It's even tried 7 furlongs. Last time at Ascot in the Wokingham ran a perfectly respectable race. But I think it's interesting that the visor goes on and they drop in trip in a less competitive race. And Jo Mason rides. I think Jo Mason is exceptionally good. I think she's a really good rider. She's the granddaughter of Mick Easterby, obviously, but we won't hold that against her. But she's really good, and I think in Desert Cop, 5 furlongs, headgear on, I'm really interested.
And nothing from you, Ed. Like I have got nothing in the SHERGAR Cup stayers. Killian and Desert Cop in the dash. The stayers, nothing for me. But Ed, you can kick off with Tides of War.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of continue to fly the Joanna Mason flag here. I think she's very good at getting horses to settle, which will be key for Tides of War, who is a little bit of a fruitcake, it has to be said. And you kind of know your fate early. I mean, Hayley Turner did a really good job of getting this individual to switch off when winning back at Goodwood's May meeting, settled early and came home strongly in that mile 6 event. Since then, has been far too lit up, far too keen, and hasn't just switched off in the early part. But I think Joanna Mason just looks like the perfect kind of jockey for Tides of War. I wouldn't mind if they go hard early doors, and dare I say it, she can almost kind of Jamie Spencer this horse into contention, because I actually think in recent times Tides of War has shaped as though 2 miles will suit. I know that almost sounds converse to logic, given that Tides of War can be keen, but I think the trip's almost irrelevant to the keenness, if you see what I'm saying. I don't think Tides of War will be winning over 10 furlongs if he doesn't settle. He's a 6-year-old gelding, but he's very much like a 2-year-old Entire at times. But I think Joanna Mason, perfect suit, off 88, handicapped to go well here. And I actually think, as I say, if Tides of War does settle early, I think the 2 miles at this stage of his career could be absolutely spot on. So I'm going to forgive the deplorable effort last time out. I think we'll get a bit of value as a consequence. So yeah, I'm with Tides of War in the win and place markets.
Stephen, who are you with?
I'm with the old boy, the Grand Vizier, who loves it at Ascot. He's only ever been out of the frame in 2, 4, 6, 7 races. He's been out of the frame twice. One of those, he ran all right in the Ascot Stakes. The other one, he was quite well beaten in the Ascot Stakes, but they were both in that hugely competitive handicap on the first day of Royal Ascot. He was 3rd in this race last year. He's now much, much, much better handicapped. And the other thing is, in these SHERGAR Cup races, because you get jockeys that are unfamiliar with the track and unfamiliar with British racing, sometimes they can get racing a long, long way out and go too hard. And he stays and stays and stays. He doesn't win very often, but win in place, I think he's much too big a price. So small win in place bet on the Grand Vizier.
Moving on to the challenge. Steve and I agree, which is probably insanity. Ed, that brings me to you. You can kick us off, and then I'll let Steve make the case for the challenge.
Yeah, I was just kind of playing the percentages here. I thought Insanity was the one to side with the Alan King team. Been in really good form last couple of starts since reverting back from hurdles to the level. Showed good stamina, good resolution to win at Windsor, and then in a pretty good race over course and distance. Didn't do a lot wrong, to use that old cliche. Probably a bit keener than ideal in the early stages, but I thought again ran a good solid race in defeat, and still has a lot of upside as a 4-year-old with a fairly lightly raced profile. I think it's just the horse's seventh race. I thought there were a few in here where perhaps the assessor probably has a handle on where they are with them, whereas Insanity off a mark in the early 90s, I wouldn't be surprised if there's still more improvement in the locker. So yeah, not one of my strongest fancies of the day, but there are a lot of out of sorts types in here. Insanity's a young improving sort, and I thought could continue to improve.
I liked Insanity. My one slight niggle was just the draw, really, and what Rachel King does out of stall number 1. I don't think you'd pick it. I mean, probably given what he did last time, won't be too far away. I just think it makes it slightly more complicated. I hope there's enough pace on for Truthful Steve, who appears to stay a little bit further. Well, just got too far back last time, and that was in a listed race at Newmarket. I feel like she's going to be more suited by basically a 10-runner handicap with a bit of pace on.
Yeah, it was also her first start of the year. So, and there's first start for virtually a year, or bar a month and a bit. and she's definitely going to improve a lot for the run. She got too far back at Newmarket, and she stayed on nicely in the closing stages, like a horse who was going to improve an awful lot for that run. Behind Mistral Star, well, she was runner-up to Mistral Star at Salisbury last season when giving that one chunks of weight in a handicap, and her form just stacks up the whole way through. And if she does improve, like I think she will for that comeback run, I think she's going to go close. And she's also got Hayley Turner, who would probably pick this meeting. As if she was to have a winner at any meeting, it would probably be this one. I don't know why, but she seems to love the SHERGAR Cup, so hopefully she can ride a winner on Truthful.
Yeah, sure, she'd be bang up for a SHERGAR Cup win over any Group 1 in the calendar. Nothing. He didn't bite. Ed.
I know. I'm still waiting. Still time.
She's definitely got more chance of winning a SHERGAR Cup race than she has any other Group 1. But fair play to her. She's won a couple of Group 1s, so you can't knock Hayley Turner. And she does like the meeting.
Can I say, just to actually blow a bit of smoke towards Steve's bottom, everyone will know that we played in the Goodwood cricket match, and it pains me to say he batted bloody brilliantly. Like you were exceptional. Runs left, right, and centre. Whacked Monty Panesar for 4, Caddick for 4. You were very. He was like a new man. So great job, Steve.
Dropped Andy Caddick on the boundary when he was batting, unfortunately. That's right. Monty Panesar, it wasn't exactly bowling how I remember him bowling in Test matches. It was more like someone who was in the trenches in the First World War lobbing hand grenades. But I'll take it. It's very kind of you to say that.
You're excellent. We're still
getting old and I can't see the ball. But we were 116 for 4, I think, when I got out, chasing 141. And we're all out for 128 or something.
Yeah, we lost our last 6 wickets for, I think, 14 runs. There we go. Right. The sprint at 320 features Jarraf, who's another team's team. Now, he's 2.75. Billy Loughnane for Owen Burrows. I don't know who's more confident here. The defeat of Fresh was excellent. Upwardly mobile horse. He's a 2 goes in handicaps so far, but last time back to 6 was excellent. Stiff 6 suits. Yeah, I found it hard to see past him. I can't really at the prices. I'm sort of getting more and more confident. Ed.
Yeah, I think back to 6 looked much more the bag, didn't it, for Jarraf and Ascot, as you say, stiff 6 and beat Fresh in Fresh's backyard, if you want to use that phrase. Really inexperienced, but going through the gears, and I just think just have too many tools for this lot. And all in all, I think could prove to be a lot better than a 95 rated beast.
Steve, what do you want to add?
I just couldn't take him on. I think he's very progressive, and I look to take him on, but everything suggests that he'll probably be in group races sooner rather than later, and that means he's got probably winning. Billy Loughnane in the saddle, that you'd probably pick him as one of the ones that you'd want on board in the SHERGAR Cup. So everything's in his favour.
Okay, we move on to the SHERGAR Cup Classic. Ed, you and I agree with Solomon, who I was really disappointed with a couple of starts ago, but then last time was much more like it. I'm following again. Go on.
Yeah, we're the forgiving type, as you say. Almost a little bit inexplicable, that run at York. Perhaps just needed the run on seasonal reappearance, but yeah, it was the apprentice race, wasn't it? Haydock last time out was really well punted, but got the job done in the end. I thought at the minimum first. Just something to bear in mind, did get a bit worked up in the prelims at Haydock. That would be the only negative. I think it was actually mounted in the chute in the end. Got a bit on edge, which I suppose you can work it one of 2 ways: to win in the manner in which Solomon did, despite the kind of antics beforehand. Probably shows there's still a lot under the bonnet there, and went about the business in pretty good style. And yeah, it just looks the horse can keep a lid on things and kind of just repeat that run from last time out. Officially goes unpenalised for that win, because it was by the virtue of it being an apprentice race. And I just think is the one they've all got to pass.
Steve, who do you like?
The Irish horse Going Remote, trained by Jesse Harrington, who ran poorly at Galway last time, but that was because the ground completely went. It was soft, and Going Remote, it's been kept away from soft ground all his career. And if you go back 3 starts to Down Royal, his first try at 1.5 miles, I thought he looked pretty good there. I thought the step up to 1.5 miles really suited him. That was in the Ulster Derby, but don't get carried away with that. But it was still a good performance, and had him strung out. Found the return to 10 furlongs a bit on the sharp side next time in a hotter race, but still ran it getting close to what he was entitled to do behind some higher rated horses and some unexposed horses like Naval Force and the Equator. So I think this is a progressive horse who comes back into a handicap. The jockey, whose name I can't pronounce, but he's a good jockey who rides mostly in Germany, but in France. So I'm not against that. And I just think that Going Remote is way, way, way overpriced. I think we can bet this horse at 15 or something. So win in place, I'm Going Remote.
Finally, we've got the SHERGAR Cup Mile. I'll kick us off because I have a real toss-up between Carry the One and Silent Film. At the price I've gone with Silent Film at 7.0, who was an eye-catcher at Goodwood last time in the mile, has been a few times. They've got a similar type of run style. We know that Carry the One is probably... to be honest, I backed him at Ascot, Newmarket Ascot, and then didn't at Chepstow when he won because I wasn't watching the Racing League. But he could easily go and score as well. I think he's really well treated, but he is a bit of a hostage to fortune. A mile should suit. But Silent Film is a horse that I kept an eye on at Meydan, in particular off the back of his first start, which I thought was quite encouraging. The second one, it didn't work out. And then he's just taken a little while to sort of look like he's back to his best. And I think that this sort of slightly easier contest than last time, because it should seem to good affair. He was very sort of kindly handled when his chance had gone quite rightly last time at Goodwood. And I'll support him here. Win and place at 7.0. Ed is gone. Steve.
Tempest. I think Silent Film will probably win because I was all over that horse from stall 2. It's in the Golden Mile at Goodwood when you need to be drawn low, and the first 2 home were drawn 20 and 21. So I wouldn't put anyone off Silent Film. I just can't bring myself to back him again after that desperate performance at Goodwood. So Tempest, who a couple of years ago was winning Group 2, Group 3 races. Since then, it's struggled a little bit, but it's become nicely handicapped. Certainly in the last year, has become really well handicapped. And in the last 2 starts, I thought there was definitely signs that Tempest was on the way back when it's worn blinkers the last 3 times. And I think that's helped a lot. Was touched off by Sterling Knight at Newmarket, and then another solid effort from a wide draw, which it sort of got caught a little bit. There's too much daylight for Tempest last time, and it started hanging a little bit to the right. And I thought that was still a step again, a backup of the right direction for Tempest. And if he can do that again in an open race, I think he's got a bit of a chance.
Ed, who are you with?
I'm going to take a chance on a massive price on Bless Him, who is probably in that purgatory of could be 1 race away from retirement. And recent evidence is starting to suggest that perhaps Father Time is catching up with 10-year-old. However, it's down in the weights. It's down to 95 and does have an awful lot of form at this track to shout about, including at Royal meetings. I mean, runs off the lowest handicap marks is 2019, I believe. 2 times course and distance winner. And as Steve has alluded to, sometimes they can get racing a bit far out here. And if they do, that will set the race up for Bless Him. Whether the old fire still burn, we'll find out, but could easily get smuggled into it in the win and place markets at a big price.
All right, that's done as far as the live racing goes. Matchbook Zero long shots next. Matchbook Zero goes live at 10 a.m. each day, and you're most likely getting best odds because there's zero margin and zero commission. If you haven't checked it out, do so. Given the nature of the exchange, enhancing your chance of best odds, and that's added to by the fact that Matchbook Zero has no margin or commission. So for a win bet only, well worth heading there. Mine's Killian in that 135, around about 13.0, I think, at Ascot. Steve?
Going remote in the 1.5 mile, the Classic, the 5th race. I can't remember what time it is.
And Ed, you're at Newmarket.
Yeah, going to take a chance with Junby, whose recent form figure 0-0-0 don't get you bouncing around. But again, this is officially the easiest race this horse has been in for 3 years. Has been running in Group 1s, Group 2s, etc. In a handicap off 100. I'm just praying the rain stay away. Connections have said they want the ground as quick as possible at Newmarket. But off 100, in an easier race, it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if Junby showed some of that old form.
Best bets. Mine is Trocia in the Dick Hearn, the 445 at Haydock. Steve, your best bet?
Bracken's Laugh in the race at Haydock.
The Rose of Lancaster. And you're in the same race, Ed?
Yeah, we're taking each other on. I'm with Matt to overcome the long absence. I think it's just too good.
Ed, Steve, thanks ever so much. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. We'll be back with you again next week. Bye-bye.